right, Allyn, we are live.
All right.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us on this beautiful. We were just talking about the weather here. As Brenda, I'm so sorry to hear that it's cold and rainy there in Minnesota. We were just talking about how beautiful our weather here was this week.
70 degrees this morning when I woke up.
Yes, very nice break in temperatures over the last couple of days. It's been gorgeous. It's going to get warm for the weekend, of course, though. So it'll be warm to get back out in the garden, to get out in the yard this weekend. But again, thank you so much for joining us today, Allyn. We really appreciate having the chance to chat with you. Again, we're celebrating Earth Day. We've got a really special, fun announcement we're going to share later on in our chat. But one of the things that I want to start off talking about that we were just chatting about a few minutes ago is National Lawn Care Month. And we were going through all the different benefits that lawns provide and kind of talking about the perception, that unfortunately lawns sometimes get. And you were sharing a bit of your story of what sometimes some of the people that kind of troll you as being a lawn guy, some of the haters out there that attack what you're doing and your response back to them, which I thought was entertaining.
Well, thanks, Sarah. It's great to be here. And yeah, I like talking about this. And actually what it is, I have fun trolling them. So, I'm a grass guy. I don't care. I love lawns, always have. It's my thing. There's all these houses, every house comes with a lawn pretty much. So they're cool. But I see the things on Facebook sometimes where people are like, we want more food and we want less lawns, or we want more of this. And it's a house with like tomato plants all in front of it. And we want less of this. And it's a house with a big lawn. And they say lawns are toxic. And all this. I think it's toxic grassism is what I think it is. I think they're elitists. They're looking down on us. I mean, we photosynthesize too. We're plants. We have a rhizosphere. We support microbial life in our soil. Why are they looking down on us? Why? Because we have a different growth habit. What's going on with that? That's kind of how I look at it. So we're all plants. Can't we all just get along?
Exactly. But you just touched on a couple of those things. That's, I think, a big misconception out there. And some of the messaging we've been trying to share throughout this month is, again, what good lawns do for our environment. And unfortunately, they do get a bad rap. They get a lot of the, that they're responsible for pollution of our surface waters or or groundwaters. They're responsible for noise pollution, people taking care of the lawns, early in the morning. We've got, of course, in certain parts of the country, the big push to go electric and things like that. But that you just hit on it. They support microbial activity. We just posted, was that this week? About the 52 different types of species of microbes that are supported in the landscape or underneath soils and lawns. And we've talked about the oxygen production. That's a big one people forget about. But I think one of the other ones that is carbon sequestration, as we were having so much of a conversation about global warming and carbon and emissions, that how much of the carbon, I think the statistic was 81 to 90. There was a survey done by the Lawn Institute. They had a half-acre property with lawn and trees and shrubs and kind of an average lawn and landscape. They found that 81 to 90% of the carbon sequestered in the landscape was sequestered by the lawn.
Mm-hmm. It's a living root. So that's what if we have a living root in soil, that's a positive thing. That's a net positive. So, I mean, my roots, your roots, we're all roots. So, and again, I agree. And I think we don't want to discount the fact that, lawns create memories. You think about when you buy a house, what's the only living thing that you bought? Everything else is dead. The roof is dead. The countertops are dead. They're not alive, but the lawn is alive. And it's something that you care for. And then you do this with your kids. And how many of us remember doing this with our dad or our mom, working outside? Well, just because it's not a garden, it's a lawn, it's the same thing. And you're learning to care for something and tend something. And you're also watching something move through the seasons. You're watching how it changes and you're learning about your environment. These are all positive things. And putting your hands in your soil, taking soil tests, we can do all the cool stuff that everyone else does. It's just a lawn, Well,
and the play space too. We touched on that a bit in the conversation last week, but I have two young kids. It's the space we go out and play ball in. It's the space that we run around in. And so when you talk about positive memories, it's not just the caring for it, but the enjoyment we get out of experiencing our lawns with our families. And there was a big push, I think, on that. We saw a bit of a revisit to the benefits of lawns through COVID as one of the, if there could be any benefits of a global pandemic, I think that was one of those benefits, is people realizing again how valuable our own green space really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on that note,
yep.
What is your favorite thing about your lawn and about lawn care?
So my favorite thing is mowing. And I've discovered over the last months that mowing is really good exercise. I had I got a zero turn a couple of years ago, and one of my subscribers, I still remember, and he likes to come and remind me all the time. He said, "You're going to gain weight since you got that zero turn." I was like, "Nah, I'm not going to." He was right. So I like mowing for that benefit. And you talked about noise pollution. I've gone to a lot of battery equipment and I love it and it works great. And I can mow earlier in the morning. So battery equipment just opens up more options for me to enjoy mowing. But yeah, I like everything about mowing, the sights, the sounds, even the electric sounds. I like the smell of it. I like sitting outside afterwards and watching what I did, because it's instant beauty. It's instant gratification. And all of those things are what I love about it.
Absolutely. I was smiling to myself when you talking about electric. We went electric too. And my son thought it was like a race car. So he loved it. He was 6 at the time. He's like, "Cool, I want to do this now." And got him all excited. But my 2-year-old was given a book, I think at Christmas time. That's like the little mower that could, I think is what it's called. And it talks about all these different types of mowers. And then the hero of the story is the little electric mower, which is kind of a funny story. Yes, Brenda, thank you. We will not forget about the beauty, the beauty that an awesome lawn provides, for sure. That's one of the other benefits, is they actually do help to increase property value when you have a really well-maintained lawn and landscape space. So on that note, Allyn, we've got, we've throughout the whole month, we've been asking folks to do exactly what you did, to share a bit about their lawn and about the benefits of lawns, to share their favorite benefit that lawns provide. You touched on a couple of those. If you had to pick one, what's your favorite benefit that lawns provide? So
to me, it goes back to the lawn. To me is a place where I can kind of chill and I can get away from the world and I can think, put on my headphones, put on a podcast, put on some music. So it's that me time. And that's really the greatest benefit for me. And it's also my part of my chores at my house. Everybody that lives at my house, we all have things we do. Those are my things. And I take pride in that because the rest of my family appreciates it too. And then, finally, I like to dominate my neighbors. So
well, can't forget about that part. That's important. But you hit a big one there, is mental health benefits, that ability to just check out and have you time, which is so important. So we have asked, like I said, we've been asking other folks to share that, their lawn photo, their favorite benefit of what lawns provide across social this month. Did a little challenge to the social community. And we have a couple winners we're going to announce who are going to get a little Ecologel prize package. A lot little. We're going to giving away a quart of Hydretain, and a hat and a sticker pack. So we've got 2 folks who have won that. That's the Lawn Father 10 was one of the ones selected. So earlier today we had Rick and Jim. For those of you in the community who know Rick and Jim, we asked them to we gave them, we had this many select, entries come in, pick a number between. And so they each got to pick a winner. So Rick picked Lawn Father, and then Jim picked Chris SO501 from Twitter. Chris was another, we kind of had this going off across Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So we had an Instagram winner and a Twitter winner. So again, Lawn Father 10 and Chris SO501. So we will reach out to both of you through a direct messaging and get your address and shipping information to be able to get that prize pack out to you. And thank you to everyone who participated and shared, helped us kind of change the narrative a bit about what lawns do for us.
Well, I was jumping in the live stream. Good to see some people chat.
Yeah. I see there's a lot of people. It's hard even to keep up with. There's so many comments going on. It's hard to keep up with everybody. Thank you all again for being here with us this Friday. So Allyn, we talked about your favorite thing about lawn care. I want to take from that conversation and kind of jump into your journey in lawn care. How did you first get started? What was the catalyst for you starting to just take care of your own lawn?
So I was a neighborhood lawn kid, growing up in St. Petersburg, Florida, but I didn't actually like lawn care then. I just did it because I wanted to take my girlfriend to the movies. So that was a way to make some cash. But it was later on, after I got out of the Air Force, I started working for True Green, which is the world's largest lawn care company, lawn spray company, and everybody has their own opinions about it. But what it was for me was it was great business training. I learned how to spray. I learned how to use proper use of chemical because we were very cost conscious. So we made proper applications because you go out of business if you didn't. So I got good at a lot of things, pounds on the ground, putting down the right amount of product, NPK. That's the things I learned. But I actually started doing what I do now because I couldn't handle customer complaints. We had so many complaints about things, and customers would call in and they wouldn't believe what I was telling them as their True Green rep. So I started going online and putting out tips there as a way to say, well, just go check this dude out online then. He's saying the same thing I am. Maybe you'll believe this internet guy. This is like 2009, right? When the internet wasn't what it is today. And I started that as a blog, and then that kind of grew into doing content on YouTube. And I did that for 10 years or so. And in the last few years, it's become what it is now. So, that's kind of my journey that way. I love lawns and I always have. I didn't ever anticipate it would turn into this, but I'm glad that it did because it's fun. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's been such an amazing, we've had a conversation in a couple of other live sessions throughout the month, and it's been really fascinating to hear about folks' journeys and how many of them kind of started with just taking care of their own lawns, but then, it was, well, neighbors started asking me questions, or folks started asking me questions, or I was getting asked, how am I doing this? And that was what snowballed them into becoming a content creator. And then of course, they've grown their channels and grown and within the community. And we talked a lot about that, how this really is a community. It's unique among other industries. The green industry, despite having, fierce competitors in some ways, you talk about wanting to dominate your neighbors, but we also seem to be a community and an industry of folks that want to see others succeed. And I think that's been a really fascinating thing to watch this DIY lawn care community sort of come together and all support each other.
Yeah, I think actually, so the DIY community, I think, is actually shaping everything else. That's my opinion, because I see there are more of us just in general than there are professionals or golf people or whatever other type of people are in lawn care. I think there's more of us. But the other thing is, professionals, people that do it for a living, they don't always want to share their secrets. So like, oh, no, this is the secret I'm using to have great lawns. I'm not going to tell my competitor that, right? They want to hide that. Whereas DIYers were like, this is why my lawn is so awesome, man. I'm way better than you because of this, right? Now I'm using extremes, but that's why I think DIY is shaping the industry, because we share everything that's awesome. And I like being a part of that.
Excellent. So you've had an additional transition, an additional part of your journey going from, taking care of the lawn, going through doing the professional service, and then, getting into the DIY and the content sharing and sharing, what you're doing, what's working, but then have taken that to the step of becoming, a distributor and going into yard mastery. What prompted that? How did you, take, because that's a big step to go from being a content creator and being an influencer to now being a distributor.
Yeah, like I never planned any of these things. When I started selling ebooks, I thought, wow, this is great. I can just sell ebooks for the rest of my life. This would be awesome. But the reason I originally started selling ebooks is because first I was doing coaching and I was working with people one-on-one, and I realized I couldn't scale that. So I wrote an ebook to help scale that. Well, then once I wrote the ebook, then people were saying, well, this is great that you're teaching me about NPK and pounds on the ground, all these things, but I just want you to tell me what the best fertilizer is for me to use. And I would say, well, I don't know what's in your Home Depot or your Ace or your, I don't know. So that was born out of that. I was like, well, we need to get something that we can make happen here. And I also found out there just wasn't a lot of people that wanted to ship 45-pound bags or 50-pound bags across the country. A lot of people would say no. And I was like, well, man, if nobody wants to do this, well, that's exactly what I'm going to do then, because it must make sense. If nobody's doing it, I'm going to be the guy to do it. And we got fortunate and figured it out. And now we have a line of fertilizer that we sell. And then we also do carry other stuff, right? I like bringing things like this that isn't on every Home Depot shelf. Well, fine, I'll bring it to the market. Then I love that because I believe in it and it works. And so we have products like that too, that don't have our name on them, that we didn't create, but we know work. And we have a way to now bring that to the marketplace, whereas maybe people are locked out of the big chain stores, and we can give them an outlet.
Excellent. You've been sort of the godfather. You've been a huge influence on a lot of other people in the community. In the conversation we had earlier this month with PJ at Girls Lawn, she shared that the first thing she picked up when she got into lawn care through necessity, was trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, picked up your Cool Season manual, and that was it. And she's off to the races. How does that make you feel as going through, again, this has been such a major event now. I mean, it's become your life, from hobby to life. But what kind of sense of pride does that give you to know that you've helped a lot of other people get started on their journey?
I love it. I think it's cool. I knew that people like me existed. And when I say that, people that really like lawns a lot and really liked to care for them and found pride in, I knew, because everybody knows the person on their street from when they were a kid that had the nice lawn. That person from wherever you grew up. So I wanted to find more of those people, but I also wanted to teach. I'm a teacher at heart. So I love doing all of those things. And I don't remember exactly what your question was, but it's just, yeah, I love what we are and what we're becoming, and I love what we're growing into. So I'm a fan of communities online. I've been on the internet since I was in the Air Force in 1993, before there was really an internet. So I've watched it grow like that, and I like online communities. And our community is really new. If you look at other communities that are more advanced or more mature, like the fitness community is another big one that I follow. Mm-hmm. We're like in the infancy of where our community is and how we work together and the things that we do, whereas the fitness community is way up here. So it's kind of cool. I'm watching how our community grows and develops, and what that can mean for all of us, because all the boats rise together in a rising tide. We all have to understand that. And if we understand that piece, then man, we can do some really cool stuff, and DIY is leading the way, period.
That's funny. I said that in an earlier live chat, was rising tides raise all ships. Yeah. And that is definitely a sense that this community brings to each other. So
because we're Floridians, we think that's
right.
That way.
That's right. So I do want to kind of ask, with everything that you've experienced, what has been your biggest challenge that you've faced, either in your own lawn and trying to get it where you want it, or in the journey of going from creator to distributor to master influencer?
The biggest challenge I've ever faced in my lawn was when I went to St. Petersburg, when I went home. So I lived up north, and I had a beautiful lawn up there, and I'm like, I'm going home. And I went to St. Petersburg, and that St. Augustine plug job kicked my rear end, and I learned. And all of you guys up north that come down here, every one of them will tell you, they get down here, man, it's hard. So that was my biggest thing there. My biggest challenge nowadays is to stay away from adult work. Growing a business is fun and it's exciting and all of those things. And I don't want to take away from it because it is cool, but accounting and legal and HR and all of those things, I want to just be this guy with my selfie stick. I don't have one right here, out in my lawn, just making great content all the time. But it's like all the adult work just pulls me away. So I have that struggle. Someday I want to share all that, I guess, because it's not, I'm a 49-year-old entrepreneur. It's not normal. Most are 25, 6 these days, So that's my challenge now, is growing this business and continuing to support our customers, but being able to still make awesome content that I like making. So
I think that would make for great content, because I'm sure there's a lot of folks like you that's their struggle when they're, that you get into this because it's your passion and you love it so much, but then taking your passion to the business side and having to do all of those roles, wear many hats that you might not have experience with. I think a lot of folks would enjoy experiencing that journey with you.
I'm very fortunate. I do have a great business partner. His name is Josh Whitford. He picks up a lot of places where I'm weak, which is most places I'm weak. So I'm fortunate in that. We've had some great people come around us recently. So that's been really a blessing. So yeah, someday I would like to share all the business side. I think it's pretty cool, when the time is right.
So on the flip side of that, what has been the best part of your journey so far?
So I got a message just yesterday on Instagram, but I'll get 2 or 3 or 4 like this every year, similar. And it was a guy that said, to just really break it down, he said, I was on the verge of suicide. He says, and I'm outside looking at my lawn and it looks terrible. He goes, I go inside and I find your videos. And he goes, and here I am. And he shows me like a picture of his lawn. That's like beautiful, like that. That kind of stuff's cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. So Brenda actually shared in the chat that you are the reason that this is the 61-year-old grandma has fallen in love with the lawn. So you're
we have a lot of lawn care ladies, and I've seen coming in recently. I don't know why that is. Maybe because I lost some weight and I look cute now. I don't know, but no, I'm seeing a lot of lawn care ladies coming out. I love that. It's really cool. Beautiful lawns, of course. So nice to see.
And that was, so you mentioned we had PJ on at the beginning of the month, but that's a big initiative that PJ has. Girls Lawn is to highlight the women in the lawn care industry and to help more women feel empowered to get into the lawn and the landscape and enjoy all of the things that you've experienced and that she's experienced in taking care of the lawn.
Yeah, I love, they have the LOL, Ladies of Lawn Care. They got the sticker and everything. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So, another, you mentioned military experience. One of the other things I wanted to touch on with you today is we're both supporting Project Evergreen's Green Care for Troops program. And for those of you who don't know, Green Care for Troops is a program that provides free lawn and landscaping services to our actively deployed military personnel. So, I wanted to kind of touch on that with you and get a sense of, what was it about this particular program that made you interested in getting involved?
Yeah, so anything to do with military, I love. Both my sons are veterans, and so I love that part of it. But really, my belief is that every military member inside is a lawn care nut. Because I know what happens when you're active duty and you live in base housing, for example. You really want to do something to that base housing lawn, and you'll experiment on it, you'll mess with it a little bit, but you dream of when you retire of having your lawn. I know they do. And so it's really cool if they're deployed, because for y'all that don't know, the way Project Evergreen works is when a member is brought on active duty, they're deployed, we go in and we mow their lawn weekly, or we'll give them fertilizer, or Hydretain is donated to them so we can take care of their grass for them while they're deployed. And what I think is really cool is if you can make it better than it was, so when they come back, it's better. And they're like, oh man, how do I do that? So I think it's almost a way of recruiting my future customers, if I'm speaking selfish that way. But no, it's a really cool thing. Now, we've been trying to find someone here at MacDill. We're trying to work on getting the program in at MacDill. If anybody knows, we would love to do that. Just every base is a little different. You got to find the right person to talk to be able to get the program in there. But I just think it's really cool opportunity, and it's neat. It does snow too, guys. It's not just lawn. It's snow. It can be anything, trim bushes, any of that kind of stuff. You basically take on this family and help them out.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you touched on that. There's a Green Care for Troops. There's snow care for troops. So they look at both sides of the program to be able to help out. And we thought it was a really great program to, when you have a military member who's deployed and their significant other, their spouse is often left behind with all of the responsibilities. This was one component where we're able to support taking that off of their shoulders, giving them, a little reprieve in the level of responsibility that they have, but also giving them that space, as we talked about the benefits, the mental health benefits, giving them that space where they can create memories and knowing that they have a lawn and landscape that is beautifully maintained, that they can go out and enjoy as a family while they're missing one of their loved ones, was really key for us in getting involved. And one of the challenges that they do have is sometimes they have, it's need based. So you might have a lot of volunteers in one area where there's not necessarily military members available to match them. And then vice versa, you end up having military members in places where we don't have volunteers available to match them. So a great program. If any of you are interested in getting involved, you can register to be a volunteer at projectevergreen.org. I'll put that in the chat later, but they're always looking for folks that are willing to help, and you can share what services you are able or willing to provide. So it's not an expectation that you're going to go in and completely do everything for this family. So there's a lot of different ways that you can get in and support. And I know they're working hard, Allyn, for you to try and find. Part of that is trying to find a family that will also be willing to let you document what you're doing for their journey, so that we can, there's a lot of privacy requirements around your military bases and folks that don't necessarily want public knowledge that they have a spouse not at home. So we're working on trying to get that match for you so that you can help share more about that program with others. So moving on from that, I wanted to talk a little bit about our products. You've been showing Hydretain there for us, but I wanted to ask you, how were you first introduced to Ecologel products?
So we actually used Hydretain when I was at True Green up north. We would use it. We had a couple colleges that couldn't irrigate, or if they could, it was minimal. And so we would use it there as a way to help them extend, on their sports fields and things like that. So I had heard of it through that and seen that result from those days. And then, I don't know, just several years later, I just came across Rick, because I love Florida businesses. And so Rick and I met at a conference or something, and I was like, oh, I remember Hydretain. And I came to the office, and he did that, the thing you guys do where you have the crystals and you blow on them under the microscope and all the crystals turn. He did that. And I was like, oh yeah, man, I want to sell that stuff.
The powder demonstration is such a great icebreaker.
Yeah, and then I took it home and did my potted plant thing that I do every year. One plant wilts and the other doesn't. And I was like, this is cool. And there we go. And it's been great, because now there's watering restrictions, get more and more. I'm thinking of my friends in Utah right now that 2 years of drought. I'm sure there's other places too. I just have a lot of friends in Utah that talk about it. So that's what this is. This is helping through those watering restrictions and things like that. Excellent.
Yeah, it's that I've had people that I've met over the years who's with, of course, we've talked about this. Ecologel is a family business. Rick's my father. I don't always claim him, but today I will. So I've had people that I've met over the years that had met him, and he's done the powder demonstration, and they'll be like, there was this guy, and they might not necessarily be able to come up with his name. And between him and Jim, sometimes they'll get confused between, was it Rick or was it Jim? But that he did this demonstration and this powder, and it turned, and it was, and they'll remember that years afterwards, remember very vividly where they were, what they were talking, where they had their meeting, what they were doing when they saw the powder demonstration for the first time. And then of course, because of what it looks like, when you bring it into a meeting and you start dumping out the white powder on the counter, they get real excited. So had to calm them down a little bit. Like, no, don't snort it. That won't feel good. One of the things that, when you had the experience with Hydretain, you've had it through True Green, you got it through Rick, you got to try it at home, but what was it about it that made you want to tell other people about the technology?
So the one thing is how unique it is, because there's a lot of stuff out there that calls itself a surfactant or a wetting agent, and those things are great and they work, but there's really nothing else like this. You can't duplicate it because it's a patent technology or whatever y'all have. And even the story behind it, where it was, what did they used to use it to keep buildings from getting graffiti to stick to them? And there's these, I may be telling the story wrong, but some of this technology, it's just really cool how it's been adapted over the years to now realize what it can do. Yeah. So that's why it's unique. I like anything that's unique. Because it can't be copied. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So the story there is it was developed for roadway dust control for the mining industry in Australia. the connection to the graffiti is that the chemist who originally developed Hydretain was an industrial coatings chemist, and he had developed some technologies that you could use for keeping graffiti off of buildings. So
that's what it was.
Same developer, but different products.
So I should stop. I've been selling this to people just around their buildings. I'm going to stop with that.
All right. So I know one of the other things that we wanted to kind of chat with you about is with Hydretain too. You mentioned this, you have friends in Utah and drought, watering restrictions, those kinds of things. Sometimes it gets pigeonholed as a drought product or as a water savings product. And we've been working this month that, along with sharing the benefits of lawns, but sharing the benefits that Hydretain provides beyond water savings or drought mitigation. What would you say is your favorite benefit that you get out of using Hydretain on your lawn?
So I love the idea of putting it down when you're seeding. I've seen the studies that you guys have run, and I want to do a full experiment with that. I want to set that up. So that I think is awesome. But where I've seen it, that's a rooting thing. So where I've seen it is I did these plug tests a few years ago where I took grass plugs and I did different things to them. And one of them, I only used Hydretain, which there's no NPK in here or anything like that. But the thing had like explosive roots compared to water only, or even some of the ones that had NPK. So there's something going on in rooting. And I know Rick sends me studies all the time. I don't understand them. But I just know from what I've seen, right? There's something that it does with rooting, whether it's in a seeding or in my plug. So that's my thing. More roots, get them out there, get them spread out.
So the concept there is that we all, work on having the best fertilizer program, the best pest management program. Sometimes the idea of water management gets left behind. We don't necessarily think about it as much, but water management is so critical to all of those other practices working correctly. And that's where I think Hydretain, comes into play that isn't always thought about, is that by keeping the plant out of drought stress and providing that moisture in between irrigation cycles, you're maintaining a healthier plant that is in a growth mode. So it's going to be continuing to push roots. The roots aren't dying when they're, because the soil's drying out, they're not sloughing off roots. So you're maintaining those fine root hairs, which then increases nutrient uptake. And so all of those ancillary benefits that come from, keeping your photosynthesis production up because you have the right amount of moisture to be able to continue those internal processes. There's a lot of that comes into play when you have the right water management behind your other programs to help amplify, make your other programs better. Mm-hmm. So Hydretain was kind of the catalyst. It has been for many other people in the industry. That's our flagship technology. And it's one that a lot of people get started with. Since using Hydretain, though, you have been introduced to other Ecologel products. You've had a chance to try some other things. What would you say is your favorite product, Ecologel product beyond Hydretain?
So I have to shout out to Jim Spindler because the guy is the genius. And so 402, I wish more people knew about this. I think this is probably the most robust product that we have in our warehouse. So you have obviously some N, which is, I always like a little bit of N. This is spoon feed product, 6 ounces per 1,000 every 10, 14 days or so. So you have NPK in here, you have miners, manganese, magnesium, lots of cool stuff like that. Sea kelp. I mean, think about it. And you ready? Hydretain also in here too. So I don't think there's anything we have, and it flows beautifully. It's not, so there you go. More.
For those who can't see that label, that's multi-purpose plus.
What did I call it? Did I call it multi-purpose? Did I say that?
I don't think you said. No, I just don't think you just pulled it up.
I want to make sure I didn't say it wrong. Multi-purpose plus 402.
No, you didn't say it wrong. I just don't think you said. So okay. Multi-purpose plus, that's it. Jim just gave you the thumbs up in the chat. Great product, great combination product for spoon feeding, and has been used a lot on golf courses. So it was kind of developed for golf course greens for spoon feeding. So if it's a good product for golf course greens, what it can do for that highly maintained, that highly stressed turf, what it can do for the home lawn.
Yep. And we have people that want to spray all the time. There it is.
That's right. When you just need that therapy, right? Going back to that mental benefit, stress reduction, when you just need to get out and spray.
Spraying and praying.
Multipurpose Plus is it. Well, so we're at a really fun time in our chat today. So we have, as I mentioned earlier, we've got sort of a big announcement that we've been gearing up for all year, but gearing up for sure all month to tell the folks, and that's the launch of our Ecologel Ambassador program. So the program is now live. For those of you who were at GIE last year, we sort of teased this out. We had the little foam finger stickers saying that we were going to be bringing out an Ecologel fan program. So when we introduced the program, kind of back in October, we started talking about it, trying to figure out what we were going to do to support the community. What was it about the program, Allyn, that made you kind of interested in getting behind it?
What I think is cool is the way you have it set up is that every creator is on a level playing field, and meaning if you want to make great content, there's something in there for you, and you can earn your way. I don't want to make it sound like you can earn points to get things, to get more, to learn more, to become a better ambassador. So it's pretty cool the way you've set up that point program for them to get in there. That's really what I like about it. I think it's a great incentive, and then the stuff they can get is really cool.
Excellent. And for those of you who are watching us, I'm going to dive into the program in just a few minutes and kind of walk through some of the features and benefits of the program that's in, what's in there, and show you kind of how to navigate through. So we'll talk a little bit about that point system and what Allyn is referring to. Allyn, one of the other things we wanted to touch on with this program is not only is this something that folks can be involved in on our side as an Ecologel ambassador, but they also have the ability to be an affiliate with you. So your affiliates can become an ambassador and sort of get double benefit. So as they're creating content to try to drive folks to buying through Yard Mastery, that content will count towards the points that they're earning through our program. And I think that's something that many folks might not have realized, that they could sort of double dip, if you will, and take advantage of both programs.
Yeah, and you guys will see that when you see how Sarah has the program laid out. So the content you create, all the links, you can run those through Yard Mastery, so you can get your commission and we ship those for you. But then, you still get credit for obviously doing the content, because that's the whole idea here. We want you to see what the stuff does, and how awesome it is, and then you're going to want to make content about it. So it makes sense, and you can get it both ways, which is nice.
Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and walk folks through what it's going to be like when they enroll. And we'll talk about how to enroll in just a minute. But when you enroll and you get access into the ambassador portal, you're going to hit the home screen here. And we have a section on how to get started. Of course, this is my admin account. So it'll say welcome. It'll have your name, your contact, or, it'll be personalized to you there. For those of you who have points, and of course, again, this is an admin account, so I don't have points on my own account at this point. But when you do, it'll show up right underneath that welcome message. So you'll be able to keep track on the homepage of the portal, how many points you've earned, and then be able to see those also when you go to redeem them in the store. So we've got a ton of resources in here. The homepage is going to walk you through how to get started. You've got a button there to be able to immediately upload your activity, and then resources that you can use when you're creating content, to be able to put, oftentimes we get requests for things like container shots. Can you send me a container? People say typically without a background, that's a PNG image of some of our products, so they can overlay it when they're doing a video or a Instagram story or something like that. So ton of resources available through here. So I'm going to walk through a minute for those of you getting started. We're going to take our journey through the portal. So obviously the first thing is to be a fan. We want, this program was developed for those of you who are already using Ecologel products and wanting to share what you are getting out of them with the community. Of course, if you haven't tried them yet, we're not going to turn you away. We'd love to have you join us as well, but we will ask that you kind of get started with the products, learn them, get comfortable with them, and then, work on sharing your experience that way. Then, develop content. We have a series of activities that are offered to get points, and we'll also talk about those in a minute. And then again, product shots and some other resources that you can use when you're creating your content. Of course, you want to put those up on your channels. And then that's what Allyn was sharing, as you're putting those things up. If you're putting links into your affiliate links into the store, those are, great part of your post. We do ask that you please tag us. But one thing that we are asking for in the program is that you upload your activity. Allyn and I we were chatting before we came on live with you all that sometimes it's hard to keep track of tags. And with a small office staff, oftentimes what happens is we get in over the weekend and there were a ton of Instagram stories that happened on Saturday. And by the time you get back into the office Monday morning, they've all disappeared. So we do ask that you please upload a screenshot of the activity so that we can see it. There's nothing more disappointing than getting back and being like, oh man, somebody put a story up and I didn't have my phone on me all weekend and I missed it. So we do ask that you please upload that for us. And then once you've done all that, you just get to reap the rewards. Through the program information tab, you'll also get access to like the post guidelines, things that'll help kind of give you help you navigate what you need to do to earn points. We have several different activities that you can do to earn. Of course, there's, social posts and videos. There's several members of the DIY community have really gotten behind, content creation through video format. And I know, Allyn, obviously that's a big part of what you do is the tutorials and sharing what you're doing, what projects you're working on. When Ecologel products or programs are incorporated into your video content, then, you'll get points for that. And those will range depending on how much information is shared. If it's, a casual mention versus like a tutorial video on one of our products, those are going to come at a different point range. Then we're always looking for direct testimonials. If you have photos or statements to share with us, we love to be able to use those in our other marketing efforts. So that's available, something you can send just something direct into us and get points. And then we want to have you guys talk about this with each other. So as we've mentioned before, this is a great community. Everybody seems to want to see everyone else succeed. And so we will be providing referral points for those of you who share the program with others and get them to sign up and then start posting. And of course, this has been a big one for us. We've had, as we started working with the community, we began receiving outreach to support milestone celebrations. And so we do want to continue supporting those with product. So as you reach various milestones in your journey, we'll be happy to share products that you can use as giveaway as part of your milestone celebrations. And what's a really fun thing we're going to be introducing is bonus activities. So throughout the year, depending on our campaign calendar or various social days or things like National Lawn Care Month, in July is Smart Irrigation Month. So we have some bonus points that will go along with Smart Irrigation Month. We're going to tie those to bonus opportunities. So you'll have the ability to, potentially earn double points or just get a, extra bonus for doing something in alignment with the messaging that we're putting out on a company level during that time period. I'll share a little bit about our point structure. We do have a tiered point structure, and this was one of the things that Allyn and I were talking about before we came on live, that sort of level the playing field in this sense that for many creators, when they get started, you don't have enough followers to get, to get any income off of YouTube or to get to earn commissions, not necessarily getting much out of directing people to make purchases. And so we wanted to be cognizant of that as we develop this program and to support folks who are just starting off on their journey. So at a minimum of 100 followers, once you hit 100 followers, you can start earning points on our program. So we've got a really low threshold for creators to be able to get started and to be able to then gain momentum and to get some free things and get some, additional product to help continue their lawn care journey with us. So we've got this at 4 different tiers available, and then posts and videos will range across those different tiers. We give bonus points for duplicate content. So if you post something on Instagram and then you share it, you do an Instagram story and you share it to your Facebook story, you'll get bonus points for doing that to reach different audiences. And we've got, we also will be looking for creativity points. So one of the things that as a team, the Ecological management team will be looking for opportunities to award creativity points for those really unique and fun videos, great side-by-sides or comparison photos utilizing our products are things that we'll be looking for as well. Under resources, as I mentioned, we get a lot of requests for things like container shots, but we've got our logos there. We've got social graphics that you can use that were pre-designed by our graphics team. We have before and after photos that we already have that you can incorporate into videos and share maybe some of the different ways that Hydretain or some of our other products can be used. I know on the social graphic side, we tend to focus a lot on lawn care, and that's awesome. And there's a ton of lawn care graphics in here. But we will be adding over the next couple of days additional graphics for gardening, for Bloomplex on your flowers, for Cytogrow, for some of our products, but also getting out into other forms of landscape and landscape care and gardening. We also have the ability, as we've touched on, Allyn, the powder demonstration. You can request physical materials from us. So through the request materials section here, you can ask for that powder demo if you want to do your own video with it or show it as you're creating content. We've got some of our literature, photo books, and things that can help you learn. One of the other key components to this program was in talking with Brandon last week. He shared, a lot of companies will send out product and ask influencers to review it, which is awesome. But they don't often provide education behind those products. And that was one of the things he and I talked about a little bit last week, was when we saw the initial wave of the community getting behind Hydretain, it was amazing, but there was a lot of misinformation out there. And so that was one of the things that we wanted to also provide, was the learning center, not only for our products, but we will also put information up here. Eventually, it's not on here yet, but Jim yesterday did a webinar on increasing nutrient uptake and shared a bunch of different resources and not only products, but cultural practices that can be done. We're all sort of experiencing what's happening right now in the industry with fertilizer prices. And so he was talking about the various ways that you can make sure you're getting the most out of every bag. And that's not just from a cost perspective, but we're also going back to the environmental perspective, making sure we're doing right by the environment by trying to maximize our efficiency. So things like that webinar will be made available through the program portal, as well as learning opportunity. Again, product knowledge, all of our literature labels, SDS, all right in one place so that you don't have to go searching for those if you're looking for specific information on a product. And then the big key is managing rewards. So through this link, you can upload activity. It's a simple form to fill out to let us know what you've done. What was it? What type of content was it? Where was it posted? Was it posted on a duplicate platform? A link or screenshot and brief description. And then the big exciting part is being able to redeem those points. Again, if I were a member, not an admin account, the points would be listed up here in the upper corner. So you'll know as soon as when you hit this page how many points you have available to spend, and can look down the list of available items. All of the products that we have available on our store and through Yard Mastery are up here. So you can, you earn enough points, you can go get products. We also have application equipment. The Pivot Pro is up here. The Pro app is up here. The pellet guns are up here. And we will be adding to this. We kind of share one of the things is that we will be adding to this based on availability and the discovery of cool things that we find to offer you. So we'll be keeping our eyes out for things we're actually working on right now. Some tumblers. So those will be one of the first merchandise items in addition to the hats that are going to be up on the site. So that is the program in a nutshell. I will share that you can visit ecologel.com now and access, we know it's up here in the upper navigation. You can get to the ambassador login. You can also access it through the footer and become an ambassador to reach the page to log in. And so it is live. It's available for you guys to go ahead and start signing up for the program.
That's awesome. I can't see the chat. Are they in there?
They are. So PJ just shared, nice that so many people have the opportunity to grow with the program. And yeah, again, that was a big part of what we wanted to make sure we were offering was something that influencers could get started with. You know, having watched a lot of people over the last couple of years sort of grow through their journey in lawn care has been really fun for us as a company, but that was part of what we wanted to look at was how can we support folks that aren't yet at a point that they're making money off of their videos or their social content. So we wanted to be able to give back to those folks.
Awesome.
It's always just pray and pray. Absolutely. So I don't know if you have any questions about the program, Allyn. I know we walked through it a little bit earlier. Again, it's a really fun thing for your affiliates to be able to get into, but even if folks aren't an affiliate with you at this point, if they're not to that level, they're just getting started in their journey, they'll have the ability to come on here and apply to become an ambassador. So once you submit the application, we'll take a look at what you have going on, why you want to get involved with us and get you into the portal system. So yeah. We're excited to get it started.
Awesome.
I don't know that we have any other questions today. I know today we mentioned was also Earth Day. We are going to be putting up for those of you in the community that have children. And PJ, I know this might be a fun one for you, but we have created some coloring pages to go along with Earth Day. So we'll be making those available to everyone here shortly. They're going to be up on the website soon. So PJ, I'll email those to you so your girls can maybe have something to color in tonight. That was a fun thing that we wanted to do for Earth Day. So we'll get those out to everybody that has little kiddos for the weekend. Thanks, Brenda. Thank you for joining us. And again, thanks for participating in the chat. Interesting to hear your journey too, also being one of those that got your start because of Allyn. I know so many folks again in the industry did. So Allyn, we really appreciate you joining us today. We appreciate what you've done for the DIY community and for the industry as a whole. And I think that pretty much wraps us up. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, you too. I'm really glad to be working with you. Thank you so much for having me and inviting me on. It was really fun.
Thanks, Allyn. Had the other screen up, so I had to